Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack. Now many of us know what the MEKA Squad is, but not many of us know who the individual members are, which includes the character that we're going to be talking about, King. Now King is probably the most unknown character out of all 5 members. I mean, we have d.va, who's basically the superstar of the whole entire squad, and then we have Demon, who's my personal favorite character because of her backstory. Then we have Overlord, who is the most overhyped character, and then Casino, who we talked about last week, who I think is the coolest, but King is... Who is King? And that's why I made this mini-series where we talk about all the members, but also how they could be a playable hero in Overwatch, because King is going to be basically the next DPS character that every single Genji main will gravitate towards when you look at his playstyle, but potentially his hero kit. He is a very hyperactive but very fun character that has a somewhat interesting backstory. There's not a lot to his backstory, but still very interesting. So his story begins all the way back into high school, where a lot of the MEKA Squad members actually first meet. But how King actually got his name, or I'm assuming how he got his in-game name, is from his in-real-life name, because you pronounce it Ki-young-soo Hong. You see how he got it? Because his first name is Ki-young King. It's cute, man. It's pretty cute. But King, just like the majority of the other members within the MEKA Squad, was an absolute menace in the game called Mecha Guardian 5. And he was so good to the point where he was able to join his high school esports team and play Mecha Guardian 5, where he eventually became the rival of another esports player of a different high school that goes by the name of Hannah Song, aka d.va. This is presumably where Demon and King also first meet, because if you watch my Demon video, she was on the same team as d.va, so if King was a rival of d.va, then he was also probably a rival of Demon, but because Demon is always in the shadow of d.va, I don't think King ever paid attention to Demon, just like the rest of the world. Again, you should really watch my Demon video, because her story is way more interesting and way more in-depth than King, because this is kind of where his story ends. He was really good at Mecha Guardian 5 and became the Gary Oak to d.va's Ash Ketchum, and eventually the South Korean army took note of all these gamers that were really good at controlling mechas and realized that, hey, they have fast reflexes. You know what we should do? We should recruit these 18 and 19-year-olds that had to raise their hand to go to the bathroom just last year to control these giant robots that take down an evil Omnic corporation. And that's exactly what happened, and for some reason, it worked out, because they were able to defend South Korea from the Guishan army and also heavily market them to the South Korean people. And you know, now that I think of it, this is kind of a similar backstory to what's happening with BTS right now, where they become giant stars and now they're joining the South Korean army. But just like the other members with d.va, Demon, Overlord, and Casino, King pilots his own mecha robot. But King's mecha that goes by the name of Singi Jion, I totally mispronounced that. Look, I got Ki-young-soo's name, I ain't gonna get his mecha's name right, but it has a fresh orange paint job with a very consistent green cockpit window where you see King piloting in the middle. It has a similar silhouette to d.va, where it's standing upright on 2 legs, but the arms are built differently, where it has 2 wrist cannons, and also the shoulders are mounted with, I'm assuming heat-seeking missiles, but definitely missiles of some sort. But one hidden ability that King's mech has that we don't see until the New Blood comic comes out is that he has the ability to either fly or super jump, kind of similar to d.va's mech. Now, we can make the safe assumption that almost all the mechas could fly. We can only really confirm that both d.va and Overlord's mechs could fly, and now also King, because we see him jumping in the comic towards the Guishan army and absolutely getting annihilated. And this is where King's playstyle comes into play, because he's going to be a very hyperactive DPS hero if he were ever to be made into a playable hero in Overwatch. Now, admittedly, it might have just been the orders, but when it comes to the different playstyles of each and every single member, we have d.va, who is literally every single playstyle in the whole entire book. I don't think we really need to go into depth with her, but we have Demon, who is definitely the more passive tank-like protector of the group. Then we have Overlord, who is, I think, the only healer out of all of the members, who is always staying back and very passive. But then we have King, who's just jumping into action without giving it a second thought. But it's very unfortunate, because after that initial attack, it was confirmed that King actually did die in that, initial, no, he didn't die. That would have been funny though. No, he somehow shows up in the group attack when they all form together in this giant transformer to beam down the enemy. So I don't know how he managed to get, wait, no, Overlord came to actually save King and his robot, so that's how he came back alive. But it's just so funny, because this is exactly how most Genjis play. They go and dive without any hesitation, and then they die, and then they probably blame their team. But now that makes you wonder, how would King actually take care of the attack? What would his weapons and abilities even be? Well, when it comes to the twin cannons, I kind of just picture this kind of being like d.va, but a lot bit slower actually, where you fire cannons but at a slow pace, like poo, 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 whoo, instead of it just being rapid sessions like d.va. I could see this being like a short range attack, which is why King wants to get in the enemy's face, because he can't do a lot of damage from up close, and what can allow him to get close to the enemy is his leap ability. Earlier I said that he either has a fly ability or leap ability. I'm pretty sure it's sort of like a Winston jump that we see in the comic, because we see him getting thrust in the air with just one leg sticking out as if he's doing like a hurdle jump of some sort. So give him a leap ability and give his other ability to his shoulder rockets, where this would be very similar to d.va's rockets, but instead of it just going in a straight line, we could actually make these heat-seeking missiles to give him a unique ability that we haven't seen in Overwatch. We have rockets with Soldier and Pharah technically and d.va, but not ones that really go and seek out the enemy. I know that might not seem very interesting, it's just kind of taking a lot of pages out of d.va's book, but that's what I kind of like about King, is that you can make the assumption that he's trying so hard to be like d.va, because they are rivals, so why wouldn't he want to try to copy what d.va's all about? It's sort of like a Kakashi and Guy Sensei sort of vibe, where Guy wants to be Kakashi so bad, or at least beat him, and King is sort of like Guy Sensei, where he wants to beat d.va so bad, but also beat d.va, but he fails every single time. But this is where he could be very unique in his own right, because instead of costing the South Korean army millions of dollars by exploding the mech just like d.va, we can make it so that King's ultimate allows him to get a super power up so that he has no cooldowns to his ability. I know that's kind of taking a page out of Kiriko's book, but instead of it getting and granting it to all of his teammates, it's just him. Now he's able to bounce around as much as he wants, fire as much rockets as he wants, and he's even able to shoot faster now, run faster, do all the things faster. If King is super hyper, then let his ultimate grant him the ability to also be super hyper when he's controlling his mech. But now the final question is, who is gonna be the voice actor for King? Who is gonna voice our hyperactive MEKA Squad member? And I think there's only one person in the whole entire world that is qualified for this job, and he goes by the name of J-Hope from BTS. Stan Army, baby, bleed purple. But overall, there's not a lot when it comes to King. Like I said before, he's one of the lesser known characters when it comes to the MEKA Squad, but that's kind of reinforced by the fact that there's not a lot of storytelling when it comes to this character. There's not a lot of abilities, there's not a lot of backstory, or really anything when it comes to King, but you can make a lot of fun assumptions when it comes to this hero, like when it comes to King's personality and his rivalry with d.va and his playstyle and his abilities. And that's what's so fun about Overwatch characters, is that you can really have a large imagination when it comes to them being a playable hero in Overwatch, but also just creating this fun backstory. Wait, did I just make a fan fiction for these MEKA Squad members? I don't know, but be sure to check out all my other videos where we talk about the other MEKA Squad members, especially when it comes to Demon, who I think is the most interesting character out of the whole entire squad. But until then, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.